If we want to understand how to deal with the global imposition of artificial intelligence, we need to understand who is implementing it on the geopolitical level and what their philosophical values are. Because you think the war's about money, and you think the war is about oil. It's kind of about oil. It's really about the death of oil and the industrialists hanging on to their power because they want us to keep using internal combustion engines. Yeah? And if we're going to make a next step to electrical cars, for example, they still need to burn coal to run the plants, to generate electricity. So they're like hanging on. Yeah? But I want to be clear, I agree we need to move away from these old polluting industrial-based technologies. My concern is this: who is managing the transition out of the industrial age and into the new technological age? What are their philosophies and what are their values? Because their philosophy and values determine their intentions. See? My values and my philosophies determine my intentions, and yours do too. Because the real war, for those who are into power, is about technology. You know, all the MK Ultra experiments, Grateful Dead, LSD, all that stuff. Yeah, who's familiar with all that? Hands up. Okay. So all the MK Ultra, all the mind control, and that's why we had James Morrison and the Doors and all that. Do you know his father was a really high general in the Navy? Anybody knows that the Doors were actually a psyop? Which shattered me because I love the Doors. I still listen to them, even though I know there's mind entrainment there, but I can phase my mind out. It's one of the things I do. So I just enjoy the music, yeah? Because what they did was they mapped out the neural network on the human brain as to how these plants and substances affected the neural network, which made the person's brain susceptible to influence. Because once they worked out how the brain works in that way, now what they're doing is creating technologies to do it. En masse. Welcome to the 5G network.
What did you say?
They're creating technologies to do that.
Welcome to the
5G network.
Yeah.
I wrote an article about the coming 5G network about 2 months ago. Maybe a bit longer. After these oligarchs and their secret societies spent several decades vigorously apprehending all esoteric knowledge and ancient technologies, an underground technological revolution occurred. They went underground both literally and metaphorically with that technology. This revolution then branched off in two directions. In one direction, we had the breakaway civilization, which continued to establish its relationship with these extraterrestrial and interdimensional races. This breakaway civilization remains hidden from public awareness to this day. Its rate of technological advancement is exponential, hence the term breakaway civilization. The technological platform this breakaway civilization is based upon is a multidimensional, living, conscious plasma and associated light energies. In the other direction, we had the the purposeful and targeted release of electrical-based knowledge and technologies to a carefully chosen few: Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison. I know, please don't get angry about the Nikola Tesla issue. People are going crazy on me on the internet because I've got Nikola Tesla in that list. Yeah? Sorry to burst the bubble, but he is the reason we have alternating current. And that's why you live in such a toxic EMF soup. He was a great man. He had multidimensional awareness and he did brilliant things. Yes, but he did also deliver you this toxic suit we're in today, because he was under the pressure of his geopolitical overlord known as JP Morgan. JP Morgan owned his ass. Sorry to say it, but it's true. Who do you think took all his technology? Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Albert Einstein, and Henry Ford, to name a handful. There was others, but these are names you're familiar with. The chosen few were selected to further develop the release-specific curriculums, you know, like in universities, what have you, and applications of this electrical-based technology into the public domain. See, we weren't allowed to have the light-based stuff. It had to be electrical. Oops, done it again. The intention was to create a societal infrastructure that was easier to monitor and regulate compared to the plasmic light-based technologies. Because it's known JP Morgan went up to Tesla once he started breaking free from the electrical reality, yeah, because there's the electrical universe and then you go beyond the electrical universe and you start getting to the light universe and the plasmic universe, you know, into the quantum fields. Yeah? And then, you know, you really start going in other dimensions of reality then. And he went up to Tesla and said, can we monitor this? Can we manage that? Can we meter it? And Tesla went, you're kidding, right? No. And he shut him down, took all his technology, all of his inventions. And he was only allowed from that moment on to work with electricity. And JP Morgan also started a campaign to discredit Tesla. I like Nikola Tesla, but I'm also going to tell the truth about what happened to Nikola Tesla. Yeah? He is responsible for AC electricity, and it is a toxic suit. DC, very inefficient over long distance, but that's what runs in your body. DC. Lightning, DC. Direct current is the naturally occurring electrical current in our natural environment. The reliance on electricity granted the slower development of humanity. By perceiving and measuring and evaluating all life through the lens of these technologies, we've been contained in the restricting dimensions of electrical-based realities. Excuse me. The only technologies to be released into the public domain are the ones that serve the agenda for the continued control and domination of our humanity. As a result, the electrical-based technologies continue to grow and develop at an exponential rate. The infrastructure for technocracy is currently being implemented globally. It's happening all around you. We're like the frog in the water. Do you know that one? You get a frying pan, you put a frog in the water, and the frying pan, the water's cold, and you turn the heat on, you gently heat it up. The frog will not leave that frying pan. The water will just continue to heat up slowly, slowly, slowly until it cooks the frog to death. And that's the analogy everybody uses, because the water is the analogy for the technological revolution that's happening all around you. And you are getting cooked. Who drinks so much more water than they did when they were younger? All the time, drinking water, yeah? It's because we're being microwaved. We're living inside a pseudo-microwave oven. Or you get your phone and you receive a mobile phone signal, right? And that's the networks we know about. What about all the other networks we don't know about that the military uses, that the agencies use it? Just like that pedophilia network, right? On the planet, they've got their own global internet, separate from ours. Did you know that? Their own internet, totally different from the public domain. There's more than one internet, there's lots of them. Okay, next. True science, by its very nature, is driven to break new frontiers and explore new realities with healthy curiosity and a sense of adventure. True science. That's real science. I am all for the true nature of science. Sadly, just like the area of spiritual and universal knowledge, the world of science in the public domain has been hijacked and subjugated. Here is how I see modern day science. Science is now a paradigm under complete suppression and control, making it an institution of conformity. We all know that. How many people have created cancer cures and they're now dead? Where I live, people are keeping it quiet, but they've got substances that you put on the skin cancer and it's gone within a month. But no one's talking about it. No one's going to advertise it. But the people are curing skin cancer just by rubbing this substance on there. It's common knowledge where I live. Common knowledge. But you can't talk about it to the authorities because they will shut that person down. Because you're not allowed to cure cancer. Did you know that? You're not allowed to cure cancer. It's not allowed, it's not permitted, it's against the law to cure cancer. Because then the pharmaceutical industry and the radiology industry and the waste from the nuclear industry can't be distributed into the human population known as chemotherapy. It's business. This substantiates the scientific establishment's disposition as a dogmatic religion. They have their prophets. Darwin is one of their prophets. They wear robes. They don't wear brown ones, they wear white robes. They're a priestly caste. And they see themselves as superior. As a result, during the 1930s, prominent scientists and senior engineers proposed what they considered a utopian energy-based economic system called technocracy. This was a really big deal back then. Now, in all fairness, the original technocracy was a fantastic idea by good scientists, good people. What does technocracy's monad symbolise? It symbolises the balance between humans and the environment. In its original concept, technocracy was created with good intentions. Technocracy was the first organisation to begin talking about sustainability before the term sustainability or growing green were even coined. This balance symbol also refers to the correct balance between production and consumption. Unfortunately, technocracy is now seen as a scientific dictatorship and expressed beautifully in dystopian literature such as Brave New World and George Orwell's 1984. Here is my standing equation for technocracy, modern technocracy, not the original version, but what they're implementing in our world today. Democracy, because we know that's fake. I was a computer engineer. I had access to computers in the Australian Electoral Commission. It doesn't take much for a piece of code to be written to say, every 4 votes of this party, you're going to knock one over to this side. No one's ever going to know because it's all done internally in the code. And you could have codes within codes, within codes, within codes. It's not hard. Socialism plus fascism plus communism plus totalitarianism plus scientism plus artificial intelligence equals modern day technocracy. Welcome to the model that is being implemented in your world today. And all these others were experiments from the past. Interesting, huh? Because if you're them and you want to create a new world order and you know you've got time to do this, then what you do is you create experiments in different cultures around the world, petri dishes, and you work out which ones are going to be good, which aspects of which ones are going to be available to you to use and implement as successful, and which ones are not. So the modern technocratic model, this is the geopolitical model behind the implementation of artificial intelligence. You see, the technocratic model is run or controlled, its Office of Operations, geopolitically, is a trilateral commission. The geopolitical secret group or society, the kind of a secret society, but a high-level group that runs that technocratic model, that is bringing it to the world, which is all about Agenda 21, going green, and all these green economies coming out. It's all run by the Trilateral Commission.